The world is watching closely as President Donald Trump prepares to deliver a highly anticipated major speech at the United Nations General Assembly this Tuesday, marking a significant moment as global leaders gather in New York for the 80th session of this international forum. But here's where it gets controversial. Trump's address is expected to challenge the very foundations of the current global order. According to White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, the president's remarks will focus on celebrating a resurgence of American power and influence on the world stage. However, Trump will also take aim at what he describes as the decline of globalist institutions, which he believes have eroded the established world order. Leavitt, this speech is particularly notable as it will be Trump's first appearance at the annual UN gathering since his return to the presidency, setting the stage for what many expect to be a bold and potentially divisive address. Following his speech, Trump is scheduled to engage in several important bilateral meetings. These include talks with UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, as well as leaders from Ukraine, Argentina, and the European Union. Additionally, he will participate in a multilateral discussion with representatives from Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Turkey, Pakistan, Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, and Jordan, countries that play critical roles in regional and global diplomacy. The ongoing conflicts in the Middle East and Eastern Europe are expected to dominate discussions at this year's General Assembly. Israel's military campaign against Hamas in Gaza and the war between Russia and Ukraine have escalated tensions worldwide, drawing urgent attention from the international community. In a move that has sparked debate, several influential nations, including key U.S. allies like the United Kingdom and Canada, are moving toward officially recognizing Palestinian statehood. This shift comes amid growing global concern over Israel's ground offensive in Gaza and the worsening humanitarian crisis, including a severe hunger emergency. On Monday, French President Emmanuel Macron made headlines by announcing at the UN that France will now recognize Palestine as a state. The time for peace has come, Macron declared, signaling a potential shift in European diplomatic stances. Meanwhile, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas addressed the General Assembly virtually after the Trump administration revoked his U.S. visa last month, preventing him from attending in person. Abbas condemned the violence that erupted on October 7, 2023, calling on Hamas to disarm and expressing willingness to collaborate with Trump on a peace plan. He also urged for a permanent ceasefire, highlighting the urgent need to halt the bloodshed. Trump, for his part, has expressed a desire to see the conflict in Gaza end, but remains firmly opposed to the recognition of Palestinian statehood. A stance that has drawn criticism and raised questions about the U.S. role in the peace process. Leavitt explained he feels this does not do anything to release the hostages, which is the primary goal right now in Gaza. It does nothing to end this conflict and bring this war to a close. She added, frankly, he believes it's a reward to Hamas. So he sees these decisions as more talk and not enough concrete action from some of our friends and allies. I think you'll hear him address this directly at the UN tomorrow. Turning to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky made a passionate appeal to the General Assembly, urging world leaders to apply strong political pressure on Russia. There is a real need for strong pressure on Russia, new joint steps from everyone in the world who believes that international law must work again, Zelensky stated, underscoring the urgency of coordinated global action. During a meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer in the UK last week, Trump hinted that he might be willing to increase pressure on Russia, but only if other countries first reduce their purchases of Russian oil. I'm willing to do other things, but not when the people that I'm fighting for are buying oil from Russia, Trump explained. If the oil price comes down, very simply, Russia will settle, and the oil price is way down. This stance raises important questions about the complexities of international sanctions and the interconnectedness of global energy markets. Is it realistic to expect countries to halt oil imports from Russia without coordinated global action? And does Trump's approach prioritize American interests at the expense of broader international solidarity? As the UN General Assembly unfolds, these issues will undoubtedly spark intense debate. What do you think? Is Trump's vision for a renewed American strength the key to restoring global order, or does it risk deepening divisions? How should the international community balance the urgent need for peace in Gaza and Ukraine with the geopolitical realities of today? Share your thoughts and join the conversation below.